Hey, Dave Ramsey never worked for me. And if you find yourself watching him and listening to him thinking it's the only way, it's not. Today, I'm going to talk about a few things to look out for and also some new ideas when it comes to money management that are refreshing and a bit more flexible. One of the reasons that Dave Ramsey never worked for me is that it's a very my way or the highway mentality. When it comes to budgeting and managing money, he teaches a very rigid approach without many alternatives. If you follow him and you watch his show or you listen to his podcast, and if you don't, that's fine. But if you did, you're going to hear him say things like, if you don't do it my way, you're stupid or you're an idiot. And the only way for you to be able to get out of debt is to do it his way. I'm not going to go through all of that today. What I want to talk about are some alternatives to the Dave Ramsey method that are helping my clients, and for sure, they helped me a whole lot when I needed a different, more flexible approach to managing my money. First, let's talk about budgets. The way that Dave Ramsey teaches budgets is that you have to track every single dollar. And you'll hear him say things like, my app is the best app, it's the best budgeting app out there. And truth is that if you don't love crunching numbers in the first place, looking at his budgets, and I've looked at his budget worksheets before, and that's actually where I rejected the notion of budgets in the first place, was I was like, I'm not gonna do it this way. It doesn't make sense for me. It's very rigid, and let's just say it, I'm a rebel. So I like to do things my way anyway, but part of being that rebel means that I need more flexible systems and more simple systems to manage my money. So with budgets, it is not necessary for you to track every single dollar. Everybody who has money, wealthy people who have money, will tell you that they pay attention to their money and that they have a system and a flow for making sure they know where their money's going, how it's being invested, and all the things. But spending is not your nemesis. Spending is not your enemy. And if you listen to Dave Ramsey, he's going to spend a lot of time telling you that it is, and that you've got to stop spending, and you've got to buy cheap things, and you've got to stop wasting money on stupid stuff. And I do have a video that says stop spending money on stupid shit. But the difference is that it's not always your everyday spending that's getting you into trouble, but you wouldn't know that by listening to Dave Ramsey. One of the reasons that budgeting never worked for me is that when I had to shift or change direction, I didn't know how to course correct with my budget. I'd have a budget on my paper and I'd have it written down, but then I'd go and look in my bank account and I couldn't reconcile in my brain where my money actually was in any given moment. In my stop budgeting system, all you need to do is make sure you know how to transfer money into one account and for what purpose. And all you then have to really pay attention to and be mindful of is how much money's in that account and have a flow of money in and out of your world. Another thing that he talks a whole lot about is debt. For me, I have a different approach to debt. And the truth is, as a woman building a business, going through a divorce, the way that I was able to navigate highs and lows in my business financially and the way I was able to get out of that marriage was through credit cards. And if I had a no credit card approach, that would not have left me with very flexible options so that I could make sure that my son's needs were met and my needs were met. And as a business owner, having a business line of credit has been very helpful, especially during times like COVID, where cash flow was not as regular as I need it to be. When you're a W-2 employee, even that isn't stability. He does talk a lot about how your paycheck is the number one way for you to build wealth. But the truth is, for so many Americans, your paycheck is not that security that you need. You need to learn how to create your own security. Having lines of credit is a great backup plan, even if you have money in savings where in a pinch you need support. I think that a healthy relationship with credit and a healthy relationship with debt takes you out of that all or nothing approach that Dave Ramsey teaches. And for so many people, it just doesn't make sense. If you could back away from the all or nothing approach that Dave Ramsey gives you, maybe you could even start thinking for yourself financially. And I actually propose that that's the solution to Dave Ramsey or any financial expert that's telling you that their way is the only way for you to be good at money. Maybe it worked for him, but the truth is, he didn't do what he needed to do to get out of debt. He did not walk the talk. He filed bankruptcy. And yes, sometimes he'll share that in public about how that can be an option for people. But he didn't spend 7 years eating beans and rice to get out of debt like he teaches. He filed bankruptcy and then he started over. So be careful with some of that advice and make sure that it applies to you and your individual circumstance before you adopt it as the only way to be good with money. Third and finally, there are different financial set points that people have in life. Psychologically, the way that people progress, and this is according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that when you have your security and safety needs met, you're then able to focus on what's next for you. But if you're someone who grew up in an environment around money where it was always scarcity, always fear, never gonna be enough, you don't have any money to spend, you're broke. You could get stuck in that mindset, whether it's Dave Ramsey or someone else teaching money that way. And if you find yourself stuck in that mindset, you're always thinking that you're broke, and it's very hard to shift the mindset that you need to have to get to another point financially. Dave Ramsey's talking to a mindset set point of brokenness. The truth is that so many of you are not broke. But if you think you're broke, how can you ever expect to break that cycle? And that's the danger of the Dave Ramsey method. You have to think like you're broke. You have to talk like you're broke. You have to act like you're broke. There's no money coming in. And that's a very dangerous mindset for you to get stuck in. You have to take that advice and start thinking about if you are going to behave like a broke person. Does a broke person really make 6 figures a year? Does a broke person really have the ability to pay a mortgage that you have? Does a broke person have the ability to send your kids to college? No, that's not a broke mindset. So if you were to shift your mindset, you can get out of that brokenness and you can actually start to grow wealth. And there are lots of ways to do that. Dave Ramsey is preying on that conversation to make sure that people stay stuck and fixed in that mindset, because then they'll keep following him, keep coming him to answers. So I want to challenge that mindset for you today and ask the question, really, are you broke just because you have debt? For most people, the answer is no. You got to handle the debt. I get that. But you probably have some assets, you have income, you have ways to grow financially. Those are the things that you need to focus on in your mindset. You cannot adopt a broke mindset and keep a broke mindset and expect to build wealth in the same way that wealthy people have done. He talks about behaviors, that you have to change your behaviors, and that 80 or 90% of your behaviors influence and dictate the results that you get financially. Wrong. It's actually opposite. 95% of the decisions that you make are in the unconscious mind. It's not as simple as just changing your behaviors. You have to dive in and dig into your mindset, which is why it's so dangerous for you to stay in a broke mindset, because if you are in a broke mindset, your mindset will influence the decisions that you make on a regular basis, and that's a dangerous way for you to live and play the game of money. To get to the next level of a financial set point, broke or in scarcity, versus the next level, which is making sure your emotional needs are met, the other parts of your life are growing, that you're living your most abundant, happy, healthy life, you have to acknowledge that you cannot always operate from a broke set point or mindset. It's going to hurt you financially. And for a lot of people who end up leaving the Dave Ramsey world, that's exactly what they're saying, is that it didn't work for them ultimately and they had to move on. So for those 3 reasons, I'm going to invite you and challenge you to think about money in a new way. You can stop budgeting. I have some ways to teach that. And what's great about the stop budgeting system is it's actually teaching you how to learn your money, not my way, but to learn what's really going on with your money and to start thinking for yourself financially with some framework on how to do that. And if you're looking for a new approach, a less rigid approach, it could be a great solution for you. When it comes to mindset, follow people, follow experts, listen to people who are talking about having wealth and abundance and growth and success and all the things that you want. Those are the kind of people that you want to model. It doesn't have to always be that you're broke to be able to get the results that you want financially. I hope this video has been helpful in helping you understand the difference between where you are and where other people might be, or the Dave Ramsey camp. He's been successful in what he does, and he's helped a lot of people. I'll give him that, but there's definitely some danger red flags that I want you to pay attention to, and this video hopefully will get you moving in a new direction.